Hello, welcome back to the Uncovery Podcast. And if you are hearing this, it is 2022 and Happy New Year. I think this is just going to be a little bite stream of consciousness because I won't have time to edit it because it is New Year's Eve. And so we will be entering quietly and tentatively into 2022, trying not to disturb anything in the universe so that hopefully it's a very chill year in comparison to the last two that we've all had. But I'm thinking about New Year's and recovery and this idea that New Year's is always this fresh start effect. It always has this effect on people that, I'm going to do different things this year. There's lots of resolutions and there's good and bad to that. And in the past, I would think to myself as I would enter each and every year that I had my eating disorder, maybe next year I'll get help, or like next year, maybe I'll tell someone what's going on with me. And the further I kind of got into my eating disorder, I think it actually stopped being that train of thought. Like I was like, well, this is my life. I'm in this now and I'm committed to it. But I did for a long period of time. I'd be like, yeah, next year will be the year that I kind of stop doing this stuff, this crazy stuff with the food and the exercise and the trying to lose weight. Like it will be enough and I will get help next year. And it, obviously that didn't happen. And that's not the way that stuff works a lot of the time, even like with New Year's resolutions. I think lots of them don't go the way that we plan. And fresh starts can happen at any time during the year. They don't have to be at New Year's. But it got me thinking about when you see a path in front of you or when you want to make a change and when those things have happened for me. And I remembered kind of what my turning point was in being honest about my eating disorder. And it was, I think it had to be 2015. And I was going to my parents' house to pick something up from them. I think BC fruit of some kind at the end of the summer. And it had gotten to the point of my eating disorder where it was no longer deniable that I was, either dying of something or had an eating disorder. And I had spent a week of that summer out in BC at our condo with my family. And it was kind of the first time, I think, in quite a long time that I had been under one roof 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with my family. And at that point, my eating disorder had gotten to the point that I could no longer even appear to be normal with food or exercise, right? Like I was eating so little that it was obvious that you can't even pretend to participate fully. And so flash forward and I'm going over to my parents to pick up some fruit at the end of that summer. And I was complaining about stomach pain that I'd been having. And I used to get this a lot. It was, upon reflection, the amount of artificial sweeteners that I was consuming was actually just like deteriorating my digestive system. And the fact that like I wasn't putting nutrients into my body properly. Like my whole digestive system was just like, it was out of whack. I was always having this like really bad stomach pain. And so I just mentioned this kind of offhand, and my dad said something along the lines of, we want to kind of talk to you about that. We're very worried. And like every hair on the back of my neck stood up because I was like, oh fuck, they're going to bring this up. And I don't know if it was because I was tired or caught off guard. Like I think I was just getting back from hot yoga or whatever it was. Or it was just like a moment that I didn't expect to have to address it. But they basically were sharing how worried they were about me and my health. And I will never forget this moment because I could see in my mind's eye two very clear and distinct options. The first being continue to deny, which is what I'd been doing for years at that point. Just, nope, I'm fine. I'd been lying forever at that point, right? Being like, nope, there's nothing going on. I'm just super healthy, or yep, no, it's fine. And so I saw that as option one, but I also saw this option of give in and tell them and release it and like let that happen. Like, be honest about this. And I honestly don't know what made me, choose the second option in that moment. I think it was just like on some level, I was like, I cannot continue to fight this. I cannot continue to lie in that moment. Maybe I was tired, like whatever it was, but I could see so distinctly the two choices that I had. And I said like, yeah, it's a thing and I'm struggling and I don't know what to do. And so that was this like turning point, this like split in the path that I will never, ever, ever forget. And, while it wasn't at New Year's, it was the beginning of what would, eventually be more recovery and journey. And obviously there's been a ton of ups and downs since then, but that was the first moment that I was actually like honest, that it was a thing. So yeah, that was my kind of like turning point. And I let it go. The secret that had been like just destroying me up until that point. And it wasn't an overnight change in any way. The only agreement I made was that like, I will think about looking at finding a therapist, maybe on my terms that I choose, like just white knuckling that control, even in, finding help and recovery. But that was a moment that I will never forget, a turning point. So all that is to really say is that New Year's has so many, connotations about making change and doing things differently, and whether or not it has to happen at New Year's or not. It's something that I was reflecting on, but maybe making a choice this year just to really finally be fucking done with this and like make this happen. And, that's a choice that I think I made even a few months ago, really, where it's like, no, I'm not going to do this forever. I'm no longer going to do this. But this feels like a really great year ahead, because I'm committed to doing it. So on another note, because it's the new year as we step into January and the fresh start effect and the inundation of messaging around what we should and shouldn't be doing and what we, should be improving in our lives, the habits we should be taking on, the 30-day challenges and the diets and the getting back on track. It's like, I'm wondering if we can just collectively sort of decide to step into the new year exactly as we are, and have that be enough. Because I think that would be actually a really beautiful way to start the year, instead of bogged down in guilt and diet messaging and all of that nonsense that I am so actively trying to overcome, because my itty bitty shitty committee in my head plays that track for me, whether it's January 1st or any other day of the year. And so in thinking about silencing those voices and making them quieter, I hope that other people can kind of do that too. You don't have to have an eating disorder to have all of those messages feel just like really icky on some level. So yeah, maybe we step into 2022 just as we are. And I hope that no matter what, we have a really, really wonderful year ahead. And yeah, we'll see you on the next episode.